fundamentals in a token, for example, like MakerDAO has had some of the best fundamentals in crypto over the longest amount of time, and it's one of the most ignored, generally speaking, ignored coins until finally just like the fundamentals became so strong that like even VCs had to like pick up on it, and now its revenue is
even
its
the VCs
attention.
had to pick up on it.
Yeah.
The slowest actors in the space, always the last one to the party.
Well, like on public markets, yeah. It's like the fundamentals were so attention grabbing that all of a sudden they showed up in the market price of MKR finally. And so like maybe like to kind of reframe what meme coins are, they're not equities, right? They're not trying to produce fundamentals. They're not trying to produce cash flows. They're commodities on attention in a particular flavor, in a particular arena. And so like Doge with hat is capturing the attention that whatever Doge with hat can produce. That one's a little self-recursive. There are other meme coins that are like running in parallel to like in real world, like non-crypto stuff. And so like as the attention, like I'm just like Taylor Swift coin, for example, Taylor Swift gets big. Taylor Swift coin would also get big because it is this like community supported unofficial commodity that is commoditizing the attention around Taylor Swift. And commodities are inherently zero sum because like oil does not produce dividends. It is a commodity. It gets consumed once, right? And so there is no cash flows to oil. There is no cash flows to gold. And so like maybe this is why we were talking about when gold is like perhaps inherently nihilistic because you don't think that you can produce anything new out of it. And so maybe this is like reframing of meme coins as like pseudo attention commodities. Does that make you feel any better or worse, Ledger?
I guess I'm indifferent. I mean, I told you I was gonna like this is gonna be hard for me to win because it's mostly me saying what I'm not that very willing to participate in, because I don't value many of these segments of the attention market, if you will, and I do believe in the attention market. That's not my point at all. I don't believe in the gambleification of that attention market, and there's just many things with regards to gambling and attention, I guess, that I choose not to participate in. It's not to say I think something should be illegal necessarily. I wish that there was a little more market accountability meaning by participants' choices not to be there, right? Like than there is. And I was thinking about this one, like did you ever seen that article where it was something like this one guy sends like 15% of the world's spam emails or something like that. And somehow he was like, somebody figured out how to block a lot of his stuff and it stopped happening. And so an example is, I'm not saying email is bad. I'm not saying email marketing is bad. I'm saying, can we call this guy bad? Like this douchebag that's sending the same spam to, tens of millions of people every day. Like I just don't like that, And and what we're saying is for all the people that are creating that, we're not just willing to say that's stupid or that's bad. Like we're like, well, maybe he's going to make a buck off of it, and I got to receive 50,000 spam emails every month because of it. And like I don't like that. That's my point.
I mean, if your point is that memes as a whole are actually really good, and just this segment of like meme coinery is bad, if you want to just say like fraudster, profit maxi, spammer, sure, I won't argue with you.
And that's been my whole point. Like, but there's a high ratio of that in this current meme coin iteration, right? Like it's because we're just like YOLO, everything is fine. We're enabling so much more of that. And we're tolerating, for example, people that I think are making irresponsible decisions like, bro, Bama Boomer's the future. You need to invest. I got a freaking bag when it was cheap. I'm up 10x. I'm going to be up 10x more after I shill it to 250,000 people. And a bunch of people that just want the lotto tickets are chasing it. And the next thing you do is dump on their face. Like that person is the one that needs to be held accountable. And it takes human beings to hold them accountable.
I think this is really kind of drilling down into the heart of this whole crux, which is we talked about how like shady and terrible crypto has been in its history, the graveyards of scams that have come and gone and made very few people very rich to the cost of retail. Are meme coins better or worse than the attempts at legitimacy that scams or accidental frauds have been? Ledger, that's a question to you.
I think they're worse, but they're not that much worse than what we've been forced into with real projects, because the government has been the one that has forced us into non-fair distributions of real projects. So I can get back to blaming the government about like their approach to regulation in crypto is what's the real culprit here. Because if we had a cleaner path towards equitable distribution of real projects, and you had a real pathway for bringing real stuff to market, then you could bring real stuff to market to everyday people, and that would be better. So this is the response. It's like a rubber band response. That's the wrong one, in my opinion.
Steven, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my generalized thoughts on this is just that ideas are powerful. Ideas have value. We've been focused a lot on crypto as like building, quote unquote projects that do things, but ideas and things that have mind share undeniably have value, right? And you can envision an end state of this cycle where virtually every single Zoomer who touches crypto has like dog with hat in their wallet, right? What does a world look like where there are just millions upon millions of people who have this coin? The coin is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, right? Like we already saw like yesterday, right? They raised $650,000 to put the hat on the sphere, right? What can a coin like that do when it has the attention of 1,000 times as many people as it already has, as those people are like way wealthier than they are now, right? Like there's like interesting stuff I think that could be done and come of that. And there's undeniably some value there. It's not valueless. Like every other thing in crypto, right? In the sort of phase one, we take an idea and we run way too far with it, and we jump off the ledge and people fall down and break a leg and get hurt. And yeah, that's obviously going to happen here. Obviously. My position is it's a little more transparent, at least this time around. It's like when you have like a kid and, he's like wants to climb a tree, and you know he's going to climb the tree, but you're like, all right, well, you're going to fall and hurt yourself, but you'll learn the hard way. That's a better thing for me than like pretending there's something there that there's not, and then somebody gets hurt, and then they feel like very disillusioned, like they were lied to in a way, and that kind of creates like lasting impact. So I think this is it's the same thing we've done over and over again. It's a slightly better version of it, but like the previous experiments we ran, there was a really good nugget of truth to them, and in later cycles, those things blossomed into really, really good projects, really, really good ideas. Same thing's going to happen.
Do you have a good example of one where it turned into something productive? Like, because I think the end state of what you're saying here is, I hope Dog with Hat is just like Dogecoin again, like, and same with Shiba Inu. But have we seen anything really of like with any real productivity or like anything of these creative ideas that blossomed even with Doge? Like, and I like Doge, and I think if you own Doge because you like Doge, that's fine. But like, have we seen economic activity or like real stuff happen beyond, I think, like, or is the maxim of that Elon Musk brought extra attention to it so that on SNL or whatever, like people bought the top of it, like, or like maybe that onboarded some people into crypto and like they went deeper down the rabbit hole in some capacity. Like what else do you think has come of that when these things have gone to where you want them to previously? Like we've had things worth tens of billions of dollars, and what have they done so far?
Well, I don't think anything in crypto has really done much so far, right? Like if you want to take a step back and think about it, right? So there's sort of like a benchmark. Like, yes, we've created some cool products in Ethereum land. Like, yeah, Bitcoin, get an ETF. Like, but the main thing we started crypto for, Bitcoin, is still not doing anything it said it wanted to do. Like it was supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash thing, right? In the original white paper, and nobody really uses it for that. So Doge is kind of like similar to Bitcoin in that regard. Like it's like this thing that people invest in as a speculative asset. Oh, by the way, it has NFTs, right? But like, I think I can see a world in the not so distant future where Doge is transacted with in like a day-to-day currency and used to purchase goods more than Bitcoin is. Like I can definitely see that world, and it won't invalidate Bitcoin, but like I can for sure see that world on the not so distant horizon.
That would be pretty funny. But I guess I would like to see some evidence of it. It is a little tiresome in crypto to like however, how long have I, 7, 8 years or whatever, like in the space, and you're just like, you keep saying like, okay, when is some of this stuff going to come into fruition? And at some point, I think the industry, like, you do need to shit or get off the pot a little bit and like do something, or else this like nihilistic view of meme coins does end up being kind of like the final hurrah, and crypto just kind of gets sent to a corner of the world where there's like not that much economic impact. I don't actually think that's true. I think there are things that are being created. There's real stuff happening. There's real things. And then as a result, you have this like massively long tail of speculative, Me Too stuff. And that's just part of it. But I would like to see some of these things make their way to the real world. For example, like I got interested in NFTs, not because I love the dog pictures or what, like monkey pics or whatever, like but I think that the inherent underlying technology of a non-fungible token has the opportunity to have incredible utility in the world. I think a lot of the things, we're going to put it all on the blockchain. They're possible to put those things, real world things, on the blockchain because they are singular, like they're identifiable, versus like the interchangeable parts of your Doge and my Doge are the same Doge, right? Like they're all just they're the ERC20, the tradable token, versus the independent one of like, this is my Pudgy Penguin or whatever. But not just this is my Pudgy Penguin, but this is how like title in real estate works, and let's put it on the blockchain. Like I'm ready for that, I guess, is my point. I'm kind of stubbornly waiting for like these real world applications. I think it's ridiculous that like we still do things the way we do in the real world, and crypto helps solve those. But like, how do we get there? And I want to funnel some of these billions and billions of dollars that come into the ecosystem to like, let's finally make some of that happen. Like that's the better world kind of mentality that I think we can do. But it's not easy. It's way harder than buying dog with hat.
Yeah, I mean, much like in the early days of the internet, like the internet didn't become a thing because people invested in Shopify and PayPal. The internet became a thing because a lot of people started using it, and they started using it in the early days for mostly, I don't know, mostly, but very numerous like illicit purposes, right? Yeah. And the same thing was with Bitcoin. Like Satoshi created Bitcoin, and then everyone was like, "Oh, cool! I could buy drugs with it now." Right? So yeah. This is just like the natural adoption cycle of these things to an extent. To expect that it's going to be any different this time around is silly. And like, of course I want to get to that end state.
I actually think crypto is going significantly slower in its true adoption cycle than the internet did.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
But truly, the crypto adoption cycle has been very slow, in my opinion, and very fast on the speculative front in the same way that the internet was, but very slow on the adoption side of things. And I think that's partly because it's really hard, right? Like there's a financialization aspect that was less a part of the internet, where the internet was just computers.
Well, I mean, I think the internet ultimately gained a lot of adoption because people used it to entertain themselves. And I think in early crypto, like, it was kind of hard to entertain yourselves. And then altcoin speculation became entertainment. And now this is just like another form of further and further entertainment. And I think from all of that entertainment bootstrapping, we will end up with tons of users. And then I think once you have tons of users, then people actually can look at this and go like, oh, there's actually like a network effect here. There's people who have wallets on their phone. There's the infrastructure laid out. And now I can come in and build stuff because the users are there. That's like the most important thing. Are the users there? Not are people investing in the infrastructure layer? That doesn't actually bootstrap all of the future growth.
I agree with that. And if, people figure out ways to lose money all the time, but like if that's what it costs to get, hundreds of millions of people with crypto wallets on their phone, like that's the core of the crypto experience that's missing. And it's really hard, by the way, talk about things that need addressing, Apple and Google and the way that they treat crypto transactions and crypto apps, the monopolization of app stores. That's one that if the government wanted to focus on something, they could focus on that. Like Apple's monopoly on what you can do in an app and how the app store is controlled in terms of purchasing and what can be done there sucks. And the route for crypto apps has been like progressive web apps, which is really hard. It's a really hard user experience. And I think some of the regulation going on there, or some of the court battles going on in Europe right now, for example, are really interesting. But if the result of all of this is that somehow we have access, like more people have access to crypto infrastructure through their phones, that would be a nice win. And I do think you can establish some real utility, and like some of the actual purposes of crypto can be exposed through that. And if their way to do it is to buy these, SafeMoon is a good example of one. Like total scam, brought onboarded a lot of people to crypto, I guess. Like, and is that the cost? I guess if your argument is that, it's worth the cost, then that's one thing. I'd rather do it with something other than SafeMoon or this cycle, whatever the memes of this cycle are. But like, nobody's talking about SafeMoon anymore, right?
Founders went to jail. That's why.
I mean, that was like an outright financial fraud, and I think important to distinguish from like the.
What was? I don't even like. Was it not launched fairly, or like what was?
There was like CoffeeZilla did a really great like
they got
6-hour breakdown on this. It is such a scam, like literal throw people in jail scam, right? Yeah. So
they had
we should put it off to the side for sure.
Yeah. Not a meme coin.
Not a meme.
Actual
it wasn't
fraud.
a meme.
It was a meme coin
safe.
that was also a fraud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's my point. Like, I think that's good then. Like they, Safe and Moon. How could you go wrong?
Exactly.
But I feel like a lot of meme coins today, it's basically the same concept, right? Of like the stupidity is so stupid.
Right.
I feel like I lose brand sales most of the time in crypto.
Good. Keep that up, and you're gonna be very
I might
rich.
make some winning trades.
Yeah.
For once, I'll be profitable.
To continue leveling up your crypto game, then you need to get on the Bankless newsletter. It's the world's most popular crypto email and is completely free. Just click below to sign up.